Hi and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this video I'm going to be looking into the question, what would the person on your mind tell you if they could say anything? There are three groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Lepidolite. Group 2 is the Appetite. And group 3 is the Black Tourmaline. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead. And up next is a close-up photo of the crystals to help you better make your selection. Hi, Group 1. We chose the Lepidolite. So let's see, what would the person on your mind tell you right now if they could say anything? Okay, so the first one we have is clairvoyance. So there's a sense that they love the way that you are able to interpret their moods, intuit the meaning behind the silences even, that usually with other people they may have like uncomfortable silence, but there's a sense of they don't need to fill the space between the two of you with a lot of empty or meaningless words. They are very happy to just exist in your presence. There's a feeling that they don't have to try to perform or impress you, but that they are very accepted as they are. On their good days, on their bad days, you're somebody that kind of meets them at their level, and you are able to uplift their spirits when they're having like an off day, or you've kind of proven to sort of give them space when they require it, rather than having to kind of make them feel that they need to put on a happy face, you know, just for your benefit, or try and sort of shift themselves out of any kind of mood that they are in that may be difficult to sort of overcome. There's a sense that they really appreciate the allowance that you give them to explore who they are deeply within as a person, or to even just tend to things in their own life outside of the connection, outside of their interactions with you. This can be a person who is used to or historically has been dealing with a lot of clingy people, needy people, codependent people, and there's a sense that they really like that you are independent. You know your own mind, you know your worth, you have a life outside of this situation that really gives them the time and space to cultivate their own interests, but to also be very motivated to try and create some sort of common ground between the two of you without feeling the pressure to do so, to kind of link their life up with yours. There's a sense that the freedom that you give this person, or the sense that you can almost tell without them needing to sort of, have an outburst or to, give very explicit instructions. There's a sense that you almost retreat or pull your energy back right when they are kind of needing some space, some alone time. But then you're also very generous with your energy. It feels like you've come to this person in their hour of need energetically on more than one occasion, which it feels like really transcends the level of depth or interaction that they've had with other people in their lives, that maybe even in the most obvious circumstance are used to dealing with people that are just oblivious to their emotions, oblivious to their moods, not really concerned about their well-being on an emotional level, but they may have been dealing with people that were just very kind of self-serving. And contrary to that, in the circumstance with you, there's a sense of you almost provide this person with the level of reassurance, whether that's closeness or distance, that they require in order to feel that to progress forward with you into deepening the bond that you share is something that they would still be able to preserve the integrity of their own independence. They could have an identity outside of the connection, and this isn't something that you would feel threatened by. This isn't something that would elicit unnecessary jealousy, or where they would have to kind of compromise or discard certain elements or aspects of themselves, or be very like afraid to sort of show maybe some of the more shadowy aspects of their character or nature out of a fear of rejection, or a fear of that not being sort of respected or accepted, or people that they've dealt with in the past that haven't even endeavored to sort of understand or learn these aspects about them, may have just been hypercritical. Contrary to that, there's a sense that you just sort of anticipate things about them that they haven't even shared with you yet. And so it's motivating them to open up, to create more space for closeness, because you've given this person a space for a lot of individuality, which they deeply appreciate. We also have angelic assistance. So they may see you as like a godsend. You arrived in their life right at their hour of need, right when they were like ready to give up on love, or you've restored hope in some sort of way that despite anything they may have going on in their life at this point in time, outside of the connection, like personal issues, things that they could be struggling with emotionally, there's a sense that they are not beyond the point of redemption, that whatever they've gone through in their past or whatever they're going through presently, that there's still some kind of core of goodness within them that has been able to magnetize in somebody such as you. You bring a lot of light to this person's reality. It feels like a few words exchanged with you really helps to kind of shift their mood to something by way of optimism, as opposed to being very weighed down by their circumstances. Or maybe this is somebody who considered themselves to be very unlucky in love, and with you it feels like they've hit the jackpot. You're somebody that checks off all of the boxes. You're the right person for them on like an emotional level, but you're also somebody that they recognize as a very healthy influence, something that may be very different from the types of romantic connections they're used to. So like neediness, codependency, toxicity, passion by way of a lot of fighting and then making up may have sort of been the tone of romances in the past. But with you, there's a sense of, even if the two of you disagree or you don't see eye to eye, that there's a sense of it's not going to create like emotional damage. It's not a situation that's going to exacerbate any kind of toxic patterns or wounding. You're somebody that really helps this person become that better version of self without putting pressure on them. It just sort of organically comes to the surface in their dealings with you, or they're motivated to try and strengthen that aspect of them in the interest of preserving the connection, or to really feeding in the high vibrational energy that you've provided to them so far. There's a deep interest in their part on reciprocating that more, and going the extra mile to show their appreciation and gratitude for the very unique presence that you represent in their life. We also have shamanic journeying. So it feels like the experience of interacting with you has healed this person on many levels. They may see you as somebody very wise, or you have a very healing energy. And it's something that, again, ties into that energy of like, you're a godsend. You've come to this person right at the point where they were almost getting ready to sink into a degree of hopelessness that could have hardened their heart. They could have had some belief systems or views that were templated upon them, or maybe were reflection of past experiences romantically, where they might have thought that they were difficult to love, or that the love that they had to give was tarnished in some way. It wasn't worth very much. They could have been struggling with self-esteem issues and kind of hid that behind sort of an overinflated ego, or may have really participated in a lot of self-destructive behavior as a result of almost like not feeling worthy of beautiful and good things in life in general, and also as far as romance is concerned. But their experiences with you have showed them that there is still hope for them. There is the ability to have a very different narrative going forward in life and in love than has been the case previously. And so maybe this has to do with like things that you've shared about your own personal journey, or just kind of the ambient experience of like spending time in your energy, opening their heart to you in the ways that they have up to this point. It's had a very positive effect on multiple areas of their life. This is somebody, it feels like, who now is starting to come up with strategies to sort of overcome obstacles. if they're going through anything that's very heavy at this particular point in time in other areas of their life, it feels like as they're having to just sort of ride these waves of energy to the point of completion, if their hands are tied and they have to just sort of wait until sort of the chaos in their life or the storms in their life pass, there's a sense that rather than kind of looking at these things as circumstances of defeat, the experiences with you, things that you've talked about, or even just your living example of how you've overcome difficulties in your life, it gives this person hope for the future, that beyond whatever wreckage is sort of happening at this point or they're navigating their way through, or may have been things in their past that they just sort of didn't know how to deal with. They just sort of stuffed it all away and tried to progress forward as best as they could. There's a sense of like there's another way to live, or there's hope beyond kind of all of that personal darkness. And it's something where they're already noticing that they feel better about themselves. They feel better about the future. Increasingly, they feel better about the idea of progressing forward with you and this situation, developing it into something more, or conveying to you a deeper level of how much you mean to them, how much you matter to them, how much they prioritize and want to protect and hold this connection with you close. All of that is a result of somebody who is actively and consciously in the process of like closing out old cycles of wounding, healing wounds, or releasing the past, because you've proven wrong all of the kind of like distortions or negative beliefs that they had about themselves, about love. It feels that you've really helped this person to kind of rewrite the script as far as self-talk is concerned. You may have spoken about things, or the experience with you has helped to kind of calm their inner critic, rather than kind of belaboring points that they are now at a point in their life where they can't change. This is somebody who's like looking towards the future with optimism, looking towards a future with you with optimism as well, which may be a stark contrast to how they had sort of viewed the idea of love, or you know, somebody that might have just resolved themselves, I guess I'll be single, or I'm just gonna have to settle, I'm never gonna find what I'm looking for. And there's a sense with you that you've opened their eyes to something different, like a different type of partnership or a different type of interaction with a person, qualities about themselves that carry meaning and value because you've appreciated these things, you've celebrated these things within this individual. So their experiences with you, in addition to like the development of feelings, it feels like you're healing this person's soul. We also have elixir of life. So you represent almost like the holy grail for this person. They see you as a treasure. They see you as somebody worthwhile, worth keeping in their life. This connection is worth fighting for. You're encouraging them to kind of open up and be more vulnerable than they've ever been with anyone, or than they've allowed themselves to be in quite some time. More of that energy of like, you're healing this person's soul. You're healing this person's heart. The experience of receiving the love you have to give, it's been very rejuvenating for them. This feels like the type of person that might have almost been profoundly moved by like waves of emotion in times where you're not like with one another. You're both just sort of doing your own thing. You know, they're kind of going through the motions of their life or their reality. And it almost supposed to be something where they've been hit by these waves of like nostalgia, or almost like an ecstasy, where it's like an overwhelming sense of just love that they feel in regards to you, exchanged maybe like energetically or empathically between the two of you. But it's almost like you've shown this person a doorway deeply within themselves, where this almost otherworldly or holy type of love exists that is now accessible to them. You've cracked something open within this person, something that had been hardened, something that had been dormant, something that had been kind of shut off or stunted through their past experiences, or maybe just never having an example of like healthy and high vibrational love. And just in the time that you've been with one another, you've known one another, you've been interacting with one another, you've helped to kind of change the paradigm as far as what they have viewed as love, or who they could be when loved correctly. That feels like even something they'd never considered before, and now they're starting to look at that. Who was I before versus like who am I now, that I'm having this beautiful experience with this other person, that even in the times where you're at a distance from one another, it's like the love that you've given, that they feel deeply inside, they're now able to access that within themselves in a more profound way. So you've awakened this person to something deeper as far as an exploration of even sitting in their own feelings more comfortably, which might have been something they had avoided doing before. So there's a lot of gratitude in that capacity, and consciously identifying you as the source point for this big expansion as far as like the heart space and loving energies are concerned. We also have healing energy. Yeah, so there's that confirmation that they feel your energy is very nurturing to them. They feel very nourished by that. There is an essence that they also want to kind of clear up any misunderstandings that may have happened between the two of you. Either things that they had said kind of impulsively, that they may need to sort of apologize or clarify, or like clarify for you in some sort of way. You may have taken something wrong, or it could have just come out wrong the way that they said something, and it's almost like they could sense the hurt or the disappointment, or maybe even just wherever you're at in kind of your connection at this point, a sense of you yearning for something more, but then maybe holding back in some sort of way. Because this is somebody who's afraid to fall in love. They're afraid of being hurt in love. They're afraid that what they have to give as far as love is concerned is damaged in some sort of way, or it's insufficient. It's not good enough. They've kind of been entrained to believe that through their experiences with other people. But with you, there's a sense of almost like stepping beyond that, seeing possibilities beyond that. And armed with this kind of knowledge that they have, this sort of sense of self, there's an essence here of like wanting to provide you with some sort of reassurance that it may be taking like a slower or amount of time, or like a longer amount of time to kind of transition to the next level between the two of you, but they are invested in the future. They're proactively sort of working towards that, expanding towards the next stage of development, almost like from the inside out. We also have cut ties. So it feels that you've really helped this person to close certain painful chapters in their life, things that they may have really struggled with, like ruminating about, regrets that they had from the past, or even a lot of anger issues towards like ex-partners or people that had sort of taken advantage of them, or had created some of these false beliefs within, that they were unlovable, they were hard to love, they needed to try harder to like earn love, or whatever they had to give wasn't good enough. And it's a sense of just the very authentic nature of their exchange with you has helped them to realize that they were never the problem. It was these other people they were dealing with. It was these other individuals who resonated with them on like a level of wounding. And now that there's been some kind of transcendence beyond that, it's almost like they don't even cling to that energy of rumination as much. They're not visiting those kind of familiar scenarios and role playing that in their mind of like all the things they wish they'd done better, the people they wish they'd never gotten involved with, heartbreak that's been difficult to kind of reconcile within themselves in order to fully move forward into new beginnings. That can account for some guardedness as far as like this situation is concerned. Somebody that has been hesitant to open their heart up fully out of like a fear of being hurt again. But every step that they take towards you, every kind of bit of patience that you show this individual, it helps them to sort of loosen the grip upon the painful memories of the past and be very present in this moment with you. So let's get some message cards and see what else they would like to tell you right now. And we have, I've thought about living together. So this person is definitely invested in developing something more between the two of you, creating more closeness, taking the connection to the next level. You've encouraged this person to sort of bring down the walls that they have had around their heart, open their mind to the possibilities of what can develop between the two of you in a way that fills them with a sense of excitement, as opposed to maybe anxiety that may have been the case before. They also say, I have an offer for you. So they may be getting ready to make some kind of confession, a declaration, asking you to become exclusive with them, mutual, partnership, moving in with them, whatever that next stage of your connection looks like. It feels that you've coaxed this person out of hiding within themselves. They've already metamorphosized into more of an open version of who they are, even if that hasn't really been demonstrated in terms of actions yet. Inside, they are feeling more of an expansiveness, more of like a return to innocence, not sort of judging this connection or love in general off of like worst case scenarios or painful moments they've experienced in the past, but it's almost like you've helped to rewrite that idea of what love can be like between two people, how romance can germinate between two individuals who are mutually respecting one another, still kind of maintaining their autonomy and individuality, and also participating in creating like a mutual circumstance with one another. And so it feels like this has incentivized this person to give you more clarity as far as their intentions, where they stand, and what they envision for the future between you. We also have give me a chance. So this is an acknowledgement that they have been kind of slow as far as making their intentions very clear, following through on promises that they've made, maybe things that you've talked about in terms of like mentioning the future or dreams and goals that you've had, and it's been a slow progress or kind of like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And there's a sense that they recognize some kind of pattern that has been at play here, and that the ball's in their court as far as accelerating this situation beyond kind of the slow and steady wins the race. This is someone who's ready to take relatively speaking, for wherever you're at in your connection with one another, they're ready to take like a quantum leap forward to the next level. Maybe this just involves talking about their feelings more, which for this person could be like a quantum leap beyond how they're used to sort of dealing with their feelings within themselves or expressing that openly with others. They may have been working on like their communication skills, rehearsing things that they want to say to you in order to make sure that there's clarity, that almost kind of like a gift or an offer might be sort of developing a new love language on account of recognizing that expressing emotions or talking about their feelings may be something that aligns very deeply with kind of what you need to feel secure and validated within a connection. And so this is someone, it feels like, that's getting ready to go the extra mile in order to show you that they are willing to kind of adapt who they are in a certain capacity in the interest of sort of creating more of that reciprocity or like a mutual satisfaction between the two of you, so that you know that you matter to them. We also have I am protecting this connection. So it feels like they are very proactive about not allowing wounds from past relationships or like a fear of getting hurt. They're not wanting that to undermine the future that you can build with one another. They're understanding that this is a rare and precious connection. And so it's almost like they're protecting this situation from circumstances in their past that it feels like in other situations, on other occasions, what has happened to them in their past prohibited them from sort of being fully in the moment with like new people that would come into their reality. They see that pattern. They recognize that. They played that out in other circumstances. They're not wanting to have a repeat of that in this situation with you. Or if there's already been maybe some back and forth between the two of you, like hot and cold, there's a sense that they recognize that they need to do their part in order to disconnect from sort of the fear of getting hurt and take a risk being vulnerable with you. And so it feels like, again, sort of forcing themselves to move through any sort of fear or hesitation in order to protect this situation from just being like a missed opportunity, or something where, they didn't sort of seize the moment in order to express fully to you what you mean to them, and follow that up with corresponding actions that demonstrate that you in this situation really matters. So I'm going to get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got R, O, C, E, T, L, K, I, B, F, W, D, M, D, P, P, M, and C. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. Chose the appetite. So let's see, what would the person on your mind tell you if they could say anything? First one we have is opening heart. So it feels like this person is developing deeper feelings for you than you would even imagine. So this might be kind of a newer connection, or maybe it's a situation where there's a lot that's unspoken, like a situationship or a friendship, or even if it's a romantic connection with this individual, it's like they're falling more deeply in love with you. They've caught feelings for you. You've opened their eyes to a new depth and layer with which they are capable of feeling love in general. It feels that there's a tenderness, a level of affection that they have for you, a desire to protect you, to protect your heart, to protect the future of what's possible between the two of you. Any struggles that you may be going through, there's an urge to almost rush in and like save you or help you in some sort of way. Be that strong presence while you are sort of conquering your obstacles or fighting towards your dreams. There's a sense that this person really wants to make you feel seen and supported and cherished and nurtured for exactly who you are. Because you help them to kind of access or recognize or start to feel this deeper current of like emotion or connection than they've ever had for another person, or that they've had for anyone in a while. Or if it's a circumstance where there's like a lot that's undefined between the two of you, it's a sense of almost like you've managed to kind of bypass a layer of defenses within this person, or something where maybe based on your circumstances, it was like, well, we're friends, so where does romance factor in there? Or I don't know this person very well, so maybe I need to take things slowly and sort of vet the situation out from a logical angle. It's a sense of like if there's been a battle between their head and their heart has won in this circumstance, and they're being magnetized to this point of wanting to reveal to you just how much you mean to them, or that they've caught feelings, making the first move if this is something that it's kind of just a lot of chemistry and potential, but not a lot has been stated overtly as far as their intentions, their feelings. It might be kind of like a mutual crush sort of situation, where they're beginning to feel very emboldened by the idea of doing something about this rather than just harboring these feelings within. It's a sense of like, I don't want to miss this opportunity to experience just how grand a connection with this person could be if I already feel so yummy inside, at the idea of them or the exchanges that we have with one another. What would that be like to be loved openly by this individual? We also have precognition. So there's a sense that this could have even been like a love at first sight situation, like very early on, very quickly, very immediately. There was something within them that might have almost kind of indicated this could be the one. This could be the person that you've been looking for. Something very intangible about you captured this person's attention and drew them towards you. It might have been something that almost kind of triggered a lot of fear within. It may be something where, again, the logical mind kind of kicked into gear and was like, no, it's too quick, it's too soon. It would be reckless to kind of just act on the impulse of a feeling. You need to get to know this person. You need to vet the situation situation out, or maybe this is somebody that's almost like a hopeless romantic in general, and they followed their heart down a lot of kind of various pathways that it feels like has led to disappointment time and again. So by the time you cross paths with them, they may have implemented a different sort of strategy, kind of restraining this aspect of themselves that might be prone to kind of overgive, or just really sort of see the best at all times within people and overlook kind of the red flags or the warning signs within other individuals. It feels like this person is a deeply sensitive individual, and when they get their heart broken, it may be something that's a very arduous process of picking up the pieces, putting their life back together. So something that when you've come into their world, when you've come into their reality, they've had to learn prior to your arrival, kind of the nature of healthy boundaries and barriers. They may have almost had to kind of close their heart out of a form of sort of self-protection as they were in the midst of healing from the last experience of disappointment. And it's almost like you've coaxed this person out of their shell without meaning to. Something about you energetically and you as a person has registered within them. Something on like an intangible level has responded to the idea of you, the experience of you, time that you spend with one another, hearing your voice. That feels to be something that they're hearing that from the heart space. There's something within them that kind of resonates or reverberates in a very obvious way whenever they're in your presence, like a very tangible magnetic pull in your direction that is quickly kind of breaking down all of these sort of excuses that they have made up to this point in time, why it's best to kind of keep their distance or to take a very practical approach to this situation. A sense that if they're getting ready to like confess feelings for you or like deeper feelings, there may be something involved in that confession, or even that comes a little further down the road of sort of like, I knew from the moment that I met you that you were exceptional, you were special. This is something that my whole body and being responded to you. It wasn't just attraction on like a physical level. This is almost like an energetic bond. They may be contemplating like, is this person my soulmate? Have I found the one? Is this my counterpart? Is this like my kingdom spouse, my divine person, that my match, the one that is like fit for me in all ways, the current version of who I am, who I have been before, and who I shall become. There's a sense that they may be thinking in terms of the different layers between the two of you as well, certain kind of like synchronicities or similarities in your life, things that have happened independent of like knowing one another that seem to all be these kind of like clues or indicators that it's almost destiny that you've met one another, or that you've been walking these parallel paths years before you've encountered one another. A sense that this is really causing this person to kind of view reality or the nature of their own life from a very different lens. It feels like you bring a lot of joy to this person, but with that is almost the sense of like many aha moments that they may be having, or like they're putting together these pieces of like different details about your circumstances that align so precisely that it's just too many to be a coincidence. It's too many little subtle things that just like a shared experience that you're having before you've even met one another, that many of these things, many of these kind of pieces that are able to be linked together, even in terms of, getting to know one another presently, it's a sense of all of the signs overwhelmingly point to this being a circumstance that it would be in their highest good to pursue or to explore, something that's very rare and very unique, that they almost feel like they're never going to find something like this again, or there's a reason, like fate or destiny, that you have intersected with one another. And rather than that being something that they're very fearful of, although they may have been overwhelmed by it at different points in time, the nature of kind of this draw towards you, any kind of signs and synchronicities, it may be something that's outside of the box from what they are used to experiencing, or that they even kind of knew was possible to experience in life prior to encountering you. But for every kind of time where they sort of pull back within to sort of introspect or get like a bird's eye perspective on the whole situation, it's almost like they're drawn back to you even more powerfully. They can only resist you in this situation for so long, and it increasingly, it's like they don't want to resist. There's a desire to surrender to this pull, to this magnetic energy towards you. We also have divine feminine. Yeah, so they may consider you to be their counterpart, their soulmate. For some people, they've even explored the idea, like, is this my twin flame? What does that mean for the two of us moving forward? This feels like somebody who's becoming more receptive to the idea of like a higher quality of love and experience of connection with another person, something that's very much outside of the mundane, very much outside of the ordinary, has obvious spiritual components to it, or has opened their eyes to kind of the nature of spirituality in general, or themselves as a spiritual being. It feels like this is something that at first might have been very much outside of their wheelhouse, outside of kind of their experience of reality or the things that they were focused on. But it's almost like you in the essence of who you are, or the nature of this connection, things that they've observed or noticed that they may or may not have discussed with you yet. It feels to be something that's kind of turned their attention to the exploration of spiritual concepts, spiritual connections, at a bare minimum, the idea of soulmates. And so it feels like you've really helped to activate this person to kind of another layer of what it means to move through the human experience. There's a sense that anything that you've shared with them as far as like your spiritual beliefs or your spiritual practices, this is also something that's kind of opened their mind, opened their heart, opened their energy to different ways of being in the world. This may be somebody who's very familiar with like traditional religious beliefs. You may be somebody who's more spiritual. And so it's something that could even be helping them to kind of deepen their relationship with traditions that they resonate with, because now they're starting to see kind of the spiritual current that runs through all of that, or a connectedness that is helping them to break free of like a very linear or kind of just limited view of what it means to kind of like have a connection with the divine, or have a connection with oneself. It's like a whole new series of experiences have really come on board for this person since they first started interacting with you, or maybe even somebody who very quickly upon meeting you experienced some kind of like spiritual awakening. They may be going through an ascension right now even, and there's a sense that as they transcend beyond the limits of kind of who they used to be, or who they understood themselves to be, or the nature of reality or love and partnership, closeness between two people, they feel more and more bonded to you. They feel more and more drawn to you. It becomes more and more apparent to them that you're the person that's kind of meant for them in general, certainly at this stage in their journey and evolution. But there's a sense of feeling already that with you there would be the ability to experience a connection where two people truly grow with one another, rather than kind of like going through a process of personal development and transformation and then growing in two different directions and sort of parting ways. There's a sense that you could keep up the pace with one another, even if it's like different beliefs that you have or different things that you're focused on. There's a sense of almost like we can see eye to eye. The contrasting sort of practices or beliefs, they're concentric in a way. There's an ability to sort of have a mutual degree of respect for one another, or be informed by one another in an element that kind of deepens the experience with the divine, as opposed to making it something that's like an oppositional force. They feel more deeply connected to themselves, to their soul, to their spirit, to source consciousness, to a whole new world and landscape of the layers of what it can mean to live their life in the here and now. We also have divine guidance. So this person may be praying about this situation. They've asked for signs. They've asked for like some obvious kind of indicators from their angels, from their spirit guides, from their ancestors, from God, Goddess, Source, whatever it is that they resonate with. Kind of like, if this is my person, if this is the path that I am supposed to walk down in life and in love, show me a sign. Show me something unmistakable that indicates this is the one for me. And it feels like they have gotten that. They have gotten that very clear and obvious indicator that it serves their highest good to move in your direction, to resist this situation, to close themselves off, to choose the path of fear. There's a sense that it will limit them to a whole range of experiences, both in terms of like who they are or who they could develop into as a person, and then more specifically like a depth and a layer of love that's possible that you've only just scratched the surface of with one another. And so they're deeply compelled to explore this further, to take down the barricades that they have around their heart, and to let you know them better, to allow you kind of into the inner sanctum within themselves emotionally, in order to be able to create a more deeply rooted and satisfying bond with one another, that their feeling is almost, this connection's approved by the divine, which it feels like is really motivating them to express more to you, or to invest more of themselves in building towards the future with you. We also have confidence. So you make this person feel like the hero of their own story. You make this person feel that they can conquer any kind of obstacles that they're facing, any kind of challenges that may exist between the two of you. It's almost like looking at these things with a very proactive attitude, rather than sort of saying, okay, it's too complicated of a situation, there are too many obstacles, it's not worth it, I'm just going to go settle into something easier, or maybe it's not meant to be. They're almost kind of looking at the current challenges, and they're gearing up to do what they can, to go above and beyond maybe what would be considered kind of reasonable, or what you'd expect out of this person, to really kind of prove to you like, I'm invested in this. I want to fight for this connection. I want to do my part, or more than my part, in order to ensure that on my end of the equation, I'm leaving no stone unturned as far as anything that might sabotage this situation, anything that might undermine the bond that we can develop between one another. That's internal fears, that's external factors. Feels like this person is getting ready to clear a lot of things out of their life, or make some kind of like a drastic change that will indicate very clearly to you they are invested in the future in this situation. And that's because you make them feel seen, you make them feel respected, you make them feel like that best version of themselves, or like that's an achievable goal instead of just like a cliche or a mantra that they repeat. It's almost like there's a clear kind of idea for them as far as like action steps that they could take to improve their life in general, but they feel that it's also in conjunction with taking action steps in order to make you more of a permanent part of their life in general. And together there's almost a sense that there's nothing the two of you can't accomplish, or can't overcome sort of with one another. We also have knowledge. So this is the energy that like you speak to their soul. You know how to kind of show this person a level of affection or respect, or just like the way in which you convey your energy, or you convey like very good vibes or positive vibes towards them. It's like exactly what they've needed. You just seem to respond to this person very effortlessly. You've just sort of been able to kind of merge yourself in with kind of wherever it is that they are at in their life, and you're walking with them. Again, it's the idea of like parallel paths that are now converging with one another. That this is something that they may be used to people trying to kind of like manipulate them or, play on their emotions in some sort of way, but they see you as a very direct and honest person, and yet you seamlessly fit into kind of what it is that they need to feel very secure, very seen, very respected as a person. They feel like a valuable part of your life, no matter kind of what the nature of your connection is with one another at this point, whether it's defined or undefined. There's a sense of you're not like putting on airs when they're around. Like, you're genuinely excited to see them. They feel very enriched by the experiences that they have with you, and so there's a desire to kind of share with you where they see the future of this connection. They don't just want to hold these feelings that are deep, that are complex, that are beautiful. They're not wanting to just hold that all in or hold themselves back from you. There's a sense of I want to let you in. I want to let you kind of see those inner workings of my heart, or understand the true nature and depth of what it is that I feel for you, what I have felt from the very beginning or from the instant that I met you, that has only increased with time. So let's get some message cards and see what else this person wants you to know right now. Okay, and we have, I've been thinking about proposing to you. Yeah, so this is somebody who sees you as their forever person. When they envision the future long-term partnership, you're the one that they see by their side. You fit in with a version of themselves that it feels like had only been sort of a glimmer. They've gotten glimpses of that, and it's almost like actionable steps can be taken in order to bring that best version into a place of reality, because it coincides very precisely with wherever your focus is on at this point. Whoever you are as a person, it's almost like you're that other component that sort of helps to compensate for their deficits, and you help enhance this person's strength. With you by their side, they feel like anything is possible. There's nothing that can't be overcome or achieved in terms of like life in general, but also a very beautiful love story. You're the person that it feels like they may have even had like dreams and visions of you, or be very familiar with your energy since they were a child. Even just the sense of like seeking and searching, always looking for the one, and there's a sense that they have found that with you. You represent that in all ways, or you are that person that they have been compelled towards for quite some time. And we also have, I have inner childhood wounds. So again, this is that indicator of somebody that may be a very sensitive person, a very emotional person, a very emotionally giving person. And so when you came on the scene, they were already boundaried up almost to a fault. Like, it feels like they went into overdrive as far as like, I got to protect my heart. I can't keep allowing myself to get hurt like this, or letting the wrong people in too close. And so it feels like this may be a very tedious process with this person, or it might have felt very confusing, like you're not sure where you stand with them, to try and get that sort of access to that kind of inner world within, or a sense of if this is like a platonic sort of situation, or there's a lot that's unspoken, you just exercising a lot of patience, or being true to yourself, or really just, loving yourself enough to kind of, be fine with this person, or fine without them. You're just sort of living your life. That's really motivated them to kind of step out of their comfort zone, to see that you're not just out to kind of use them or take advantage of them, but that it's given time to like establish some sort of like true or real connection between the two of you, which it feels like is helping them to kind of dismantle all of this guardedness. There's a deep desire to experience something more with you, or to let you in closer than they have let anyone for quite some time. And they also say, I'm not blind to the signs, I do see them. So again, that confirmation, there may be a lot of signs and synchronicities that have popped up in their reality since the two of you have met, maybe even things that they're able to look at in kind of their backstory, their history, that coincide very precisely or very eerily with things that have gone on in your life, in your reality. Or there's definitely a sense of like, this is a fated connection. I was fated to meet this person. This is destiny. We have encountered one another for a reason. It feels like even with this, there's a sense of like healing or letting go of any kind of bitterness about certain things that have occurred in the past that might have been like missed opportunities or kind of troubled times that they had been through that they've been very hard about on themselves about. It's a sense of like, if things had gone better or had gone right, I wouldn't have been in the position in my life to connect with you. And you're a blessing. You're a gift. You are sort of the light at the end of my tunnel. You're the silver lining that I needed. And if it weren't for all of that darkness, I wouldn't have been able to like appreciate you or decipher you or receive you as fully as I am in this moment. We also have, I've looked into tarot readings. Yeah, so it feels like this person is expanding their spiritual knowledge. They may have gotten readings about you in the situation. They're looking into the concept of it, a minimum soulmates, maybe even like, counterparts, twin flame, kingdom spouse, starting to kind of look at the world from a spiritual lens as opposed to just a logical and mundane lens or an emotional lens. It feels like, you've come into this person's life and almost maybe sparked a spiritual awakening, or you've come in at a point when they were already starting to awaken, and it's kind of like now they're seeing more clearly kind of the depths and layers of who they are as a person, and therefore the requirements or what they're needing and wanting as far as like a partnership with another person, that has also up-leveled. The types of people and things that they were attracted to before, it's almost like the more they sort of explore and come to understand this almost spiritual aspect of themselves or a layer of reality in general, it's like people that they were attracted to before, they aren't attracted to that. It doesn't fulfill them. They're starting to see other people that they, might have even allowed into a place where they'd gotten wounded or hurt emotionally, that these people lacked some kind of like spiritual substance or a depth to them, that it's almost like, how could I have let these people have such a great impact in terms of like a pessimism towards love that might have developed when we're not even operating on the same timeline? They're stagnant as far as their growth is concerned. They're unawakened or unevolved or uninterested in kind of looking into that versus sort of where this person is headed in their life or the changes that are developing. They're seeing you as the right partner that could kind of grow and evolve alongside them through all of the seasons to come in their life and all the different manifestations of who they become or discover themselves to be or choose to be through incorporating kind of this spiritual sense within the way in which they are living in sort of 3D reality. So let's get some initials. This can be a first, middle, or last name if you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got D, X, U, B, H, C, K, E, T, N, S, N, I, L, W, and M. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 3. Chose the black tourmaline. So let's see, what would the person on your mind tell you if they could say anything? have sensuality. So this person is really attracted to you. It feels like there is a deep desire to explore you on all levels, mind, body, and soul. They are very drawn to your way of viewing the world, the way you live your life, your personal style, the way you express yourself, some air of mystery about you that is creating almost this desire to do whatever it takes in order to earn your trust or earn a place of closeness within your life that will allow them to get to know aspects of you that no one has known before. This is someone who's very drawn to a secretive side of you, sort of wanting to know kind of everything about you. What are your turn-ons? What are your turn-offs? What are your motivations, your dreams, your goals in life? What are the nature of your wounds? Who's hurt you? Who's broken your heart? All of this information that they're wanting to gather in order to learn how to love you better, or in some way to present you with kind of a different experience of love and partnership in a very healing and healthy way as compared to anything that you've known before. There's a sense that they see you as somebody very confident within your own skin. You don't seek outside validation and approval. You are self-sustaining in that capacity, which may be very different from other people that they've encountered, or the type of people that they're typically attracted to or seem to draw into their reality that expresses romantic interest within them. There's a sense that you're very incomparable to anyone they've ever known before, and very different from anyone they've ever dated or had a romantic relationship with before as well, which may make them feel a little bit exposed and vulnerable themselves, almost like the rules of love or the way in which they typically are expected to show up in partnerships, or that they feel very inclined or drawn to kind of demonstrate as far as aspects about themselves, or kind of their role within situations with someone they're romantically involved with. That doesn't apply in this situation. This is almost encouraging this person to kind of dig deeply within the shadows of themselves and sort of excavate hidden parts of them that may have been overlooked or underappreciated in certain situations. There's a sense of almost like, maybe you could love these qualities about me. Maybe these aspects about myself that it's been a struggle to understand or find acceptance about for me or through other people. Maybe it's because these were always intended to be received by somebody like you. Maybe there are aspects within you that will help me to come to a place of like acceptance or love for myself on a deeper and all-encompassing level. We also have twin flames, so they may consider you their twin flame, their soulmate, their counterpart, the yin to their yang, almost like looking in a mirror when they are with you. The things that you say, the perspectives that you have on life, on love, on yourself, this may really echo certain sentiments that they've never shared with anyone. There's a sense that they almost kind of, they don't pedestalize you, but there's an idealism here in this situation. That they may have kind of struggled with sort of these energies of like, is this person too good to be true? This seems to be everything that I've been looking for, that has been very elusive to find and experience with other people. Even the sense of like things about the two of you that are very different or conflicting. There's a sense that with you, they're accepting of these things they may have like in certain situations been very opinionated about, or even diametrically opposed to. Oh, I'd never be with someone that had those belief systems. I would never be with somebody that liked this or liked that, or was affiliated or associated with certain things, or led their life in a particular way. And yet with you, it's almost like all of those rules, all of those kind of judgment calls, there's a sense of like yielding. You hold a mirror up for this person almost in ways that they may have considered themselves to be very open-minded or accepting, and they're starting to almost see they were operating from a place of judgment or judging people based on like surface level qualities before, that it feels like the experience with you has helped to kind of open their mind to different ways of being. Not everything is linear. Not everybody kind of like fits into one category or one sort of definition. You're helping this person to sort of see the gray areas as opposed to looking at life from purely a black and white perspective. So it feels that you've really enriched the nature of even how they're able to get along with other people in their life that may have different sort of ideas about things, different belief systems, different types of personalities, that it may have been really conflict oriented or sort of a struggle to see things from these individuals' perspective, or even try to see things from these individuals' perspective based on certain like heuristics or kind of like surface level qualities that might have just automatically been sort of dismissed by this individual. You've come into their world and you've proven a lot of these kind of assumptions wrong. You've shown them that there are many sides to each thing in life, and so it feels like they have been deeply enriched as a human, dealing with other humans since kind of coming into contact with you. And it feels like this has created a level of like an endearing quality about you, or something that they're deeply grateful for, where they can be sort of in more of a fluid or like a flow state in terms of encountering or dealing with people from all different walks of life without being so like us versus them kind of a mentality. There's more of like a cooperativeness now that they've had a chance to sort of experience you and things about you that are very different from certain details or elements about themselves that they had always kind of held in a place as like part of their identity in some sort of way. Like it's almost, you've helped this person to sort of evolve their ego, not dismantle it, but evolve it in some sort of way where there's more space that's held now within them for subtle differences between people in a place of acceptance and harmony. We also have deep emotions. So this feels like this person has put no limits on where they see the future of this connection developing. If they've been kind of hesitant to sort of express openly their feelings, or you've been very uncertain about where they stand about the situation, they see forever with you. They see themselves growing old with you. There's a sense that one lifetime with you wouldn't be enough. Again, there's this like curiosity to get to know you on all of these kind of deeper levels, because there's a sense of like, I want to learn who you are so I can endeavor to do my best to love you properly, love you in all the ways that all the people that came before me failed to do, or failed to take the time to like learn who you are as a person, in order to kind of respond to and respect the very unique nature of what it is that makes you feel fulfilled, what it is that you need in order to feel safe and secure and valued and appreciated as a person and within an interpersonal relationship. It feels like something that the way you lead with your heart, or you're very kind of generous with your time, or you're the type of person maybe that steps right into situations and seeks to almost not match the energy that people give you, but almost kind of leave people better than you found them, or like uplift situations. You're the type of person that comes in and shifts the energy of the room for the better. You'll give of yourself, even at times where you're not feeling your best. And it feels like this has taught this person a whole new level of what it means to be generous. They may have equated generosity with like, okay, a donation of money or time, or, things of that nature. But there's almost a sense of kind of like silent presence that you give to other people. You're there for other people in their hour of need, or you've been there for this person in their hour of need. And they're understanding that to not be something where you're trying to like virtue signal, but a sense of almost like you're just a good, caring, and kind person who does not hesitate to sort of help others when and where you can, even if it's in sort of an unorthodox way. You're always kind of contributing to sort of uplift the nature of circumstances or bring people out of a place of woundedness into sort of the light within themselves. And it feels like you've performed this function for this individual on more than one occasion, which it feels like has them very compelled to sort of like, how can I give to you now? You've given me so much already. How is it that I can reciprocate with you so that as a connection develops between the two of us, we're both having our needs met. We're, one person's not draining the other, but it's this true like reciprocal exchange between two people. We also have divine guidance. So they see you as somebody that is very wise. You're like an old soul, a mystic, a sage, a shaman, somebody that has really helped to kind of heal certain wounds within this person that they didn't even know existed. There's a sense that they feel better about themselves. They feel very uplifted after having spent even a short time in your company. The way in which you view the world or things that you might have sort of shared with them have helped them to look towards the future or circumstances around them or people in general with less of like a glass half empty and more of like a neutral or even glass half full sort of perspective. There's a sense that you know the right things to say, almost like the words that this person needs to hear to gain reassurance about themselves in this situation or themselves and like wherever they are at in their life, or even things that had been kind of needling at them for quite some time internally that they'd never really shared with other people, fears, insecurities, wounds. And it's almost like you're able to kind of read this person, you're able to read their energy, or maybe, you do resonate as somebody who's like an empath. You read energies more so than the words that are spoken. It's the energy behind all of that is kind of what you are responding to, that it feels like has been definitely noted by this person in a very positive way. They don't feel that kind of that ability about you is invasive in any sort of way. It actually brings them a lot of comfort. They may be somebody who really sort of struggles to put to words what it is that they're feeling, and in tandem with that struggles to kind of understand within themselves, well, what am I feeling? How can I convey that to another person if I don't even know how to articulate that within myself? And so it's a sense of almost like an approach that you've taken with them, or how you've really helped this person to kind of come into a place of being more comfortable about self-expression in various ways. It feels like it's had a very positive ripple effect on like different areas of their life. They never knew that this side of them existed, or that it was possible to kind of express that outwardly to another person and receive a degree of acceptance. It feels like this individual's life has been changed for the better ever since you came into it. You also have happiness. So they see you as like a ray of sunshine. You are the sun itself for this person. You are their sunshine and you are their moonlight. You are a compelling force within their life. This feels like somebody who wants to do everything they can to ensure your happiness, to make sure that you are comfortable and satisfied with where the relationship is at, where it is headed. This is somebody who has every intention of being very direct and honest with you about their intentions moving forward. Something where they may recognize kind of a need to be open with communication, and something that they're like working on behind the scenes, a desire to provide you with some sort of clarity, reveal the nature of these hidden feelings, and almost a deep layer of admiration and respect that they have for you as a person. A desire to not make you feel that you need to be anybody other than yourself, because who you are authentically, for everything that they know about you and everything that's a mystery, you're very intriguing to this person. It's like a breath of fresh air compared to people that they may have dealt with in their past that just were kind of shallow, or their focus in life was on different sorts of things, and whatever your focus is on, you may be a more evolved soul than people they are used to dealing with, which it feels like has also shed some light on this within this person of like, they're resonating with you. Could they themselves be an evolved soul who was maybe just hanging around with or having romantic relationships with people that were operating on more of like a lower or limited vibration? And it feels like even entertaining that sort of thought or possibility has provided them a lot of healing as far as feelings of inadequacy they may have had in the past, where almost like their efforts were underappreciated or unnoticed by romantic partners. Maybe they're used to dealing with people that love is shown through just gift giving exclusively, or saying I love you, and that's it. But there's a sense of almost like a deeper layer of kind of like time and attention and care and intimacy by way of like conversation, different sorts of kind of intuitive experiences with one another that they've been craving in a partnership with another person, but they've never experienced it up to this point, and may have not even had the words to kind of articulate or describe that to others, so they didn't know how to ask for that or really seek that out. And yet in some way they've found that with you. It's been made available very organically, because it's just part of the essence of like who you are, or a part of you that sort of comes out very naturally in their presence, that also kind of brings forth that element within themselves. They feel deeply satisfied with you and with the idea of what the future can hold. And we also have equilibrium. So they see you as somebody who really balances them out. You ground them, and yet at the same point in time, you exhilarate them. It's the idea of progressing forward with you in a connection to be like the greatest adventure of their lifetime. There's a sense of wanting to provide you with some kind of reassurance, or some kind of demonstration, or something very obvious that kind of lets you know that wherever you're at in your connection at this point, whatever's going on between the two of you or in your own kind of personal lives at this point, they are invested in the future with you. They want to see this connection through to the next level. They want to work with you as opposed to being an oppositional force that kind of resists this situation. If they'd been kind of overwhelmed by the nature of their feelings, or even the intensity of like a soul connection between the two of you that had caused them to sort of pull back, or just be kind of confused, like, I don't know how to handle this. I've never experienced anything like this before. I don't know what to do. I don't know what the next step should be. There's a sense that they have been educating themselves, or maybe even just listening to like their instinct, their intuition, not trying as hard, and just letting it happen very naturally, following those instincts in whatever direction, something that to them may seem like, okay, this is going to be very impulsive, but I'm just going to do it, and then they present something forward, and it's exactly what you are needing. It registers in a very positive way with you. It's received in a very reassuring way, that it feels like you're encouraging this person to continue to listen to some kind of inner voice or instinct, which is bringing out kind of a different version of themselves than typically shows up in romance, but it's more in alignment with kind of who they are as a soul. It's this higher level love that it feels like they are very encouraged to not just bring down from the ethers, but to really bring out from like very deeply within themselves. So there's a deep draw and magnetization towards you, not for something temporary or kind of circumstantial, but almost a sense of like, I want to get on board with this so we can experience all the different facets of what's possible between the two of us now and into the future. So I'm going to get some message cards and see what else this person wants you to know right now from their higher self. Okay, and we have, I'm really sensitive deep down. I just put up a front. Yeah, so you may be teaching this person kind of a new love language, or they're using the voice of their heart in a way that has never been articulated before. It feels like this ties into the air of like mystery about you, sort of like, okay, previous attempts at sort of winning this person over or demonstrating my affections have only been kind of like minimally effective. So there's a sense of like digging in deeper, finding other sorts of motivations or inspirations within, pulling out all the stops in order to sort of prove to you that they're not just wanting something temporary and surface level, but they're really wanting to go deep down into that soul level love with you and experience all the richness that is possible in a way that they've never been properly incentivized with another person to do before, or they never even knew that it was possible to do such things until they encountered you, and something within them kind of shifted and activated and awakened that is bringing out a new face of the lover inside of themselves, which it feels like will be a very exclusive and kind of singular demonstration for you. We also have, I was in denial. So this person definitely could have tried to fight their feelings for a long time. The idea of like a soul connection between the two of you that may have really collided with sort of their logical perceptions of what happens in partnerships, the nature of like who they were looking for, the type of person that would be their proper match, or, the best fit for them. It feels that you've exceeded the expectations in all the best ways of what true love should feel like. This may be somebody who has always kind of wanted true love and kind of gave up on that and just settled for, well, on the surface this looks good, it feels good, this person's here, so that must be my person, or I'll just sort of settle in the situation. But you've really encouraged this person to kind of revive some of those dreams of like a higher level love, a true love, the one. You may have come into their life very unexpectedly in a way that has motivated them to sort of revive, again, like a romantic inside of themselves, take the situation in a very practical approach, but also kind of bring out a deeper degree of emotionality than they have already. And we also have, I know we are being spiritually guided. So they're definitely seeing signs and synchronicities related to you in this situation. There's a deep motivation to explore that more fully, to link their life up with yours, not just in a mundane fashion, but to really bring down this higher level love into the here and now, so that the two of you can have a very transcendent experience of romance and partnership with one another. And we also have, you gave me that spark. So that can be a confirmation of a twin flame connection between the two of you, something where you have awakened a different motivation or incentive within this person to express love in a way that might be bold, or might seem kind of impulsive, maybe kind of sudden in terms of whatever their next sort of step is towards you, or something that they're wanting to show or prove, so that you understand that you are meaningful. They set you apart from all others. They feel that you were specifically designed for them. You emanate from the same spark. You speak to one another on a soul level. They desire you very deeply from the core and the essence of who they are, not just as a temporary sort of fling, but as something that it feels like you light up their life in the best possible way. And the idea of like building a future with you is something that fills them with a lot of hope and a lot of joy, for almost a level of like miraculous energy, or something that may be very kind of majestic between the two of you, that they're already feeling within, that they didn't think they could find in another person. They didn't think this was possible in like earthly 3D love, and yet here you are, and here they are, and this is happening here and now. So it feels like this person is definitely, they're on board with you. They're on board with this. They're really wanting to kind of increase this potential between the two of you, actualize it into something real, and do whatever it takes in order to keep this bond between the two of you alive and well, and to strengthen it in whatever ways they can. So let's get some initials. Can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or can spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got E, A, S, A, C, U, B, H, O, N, R, C, Z, K, P, and G. So go. Those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.